Aloha mai kako. Welcome to tonight's class. We're going to be discussing chapters 3 and 4, which is verbal and nonverbal communication. What I'd like you to do before we begin the class is go ahead and get a scratch piece of paper, preferably an 8.5 by 11. We're going to be using it for a exercise later on. So what we'll be doing tonight, as I mentioned, we're going to be using the book Customer Service Skills for Success, talking about chapter 3, verbal communication skills, and chapter 4, which is nonverbal communication skills. I'm just going to be doing overviews of the customer service skills because I believe many of you already possess excellent verbal communication and nonverbal communication skills, as well as customer service skills. And I believe that the book is really easy to follow. So the bulk of the information you should be getting from there. And this is just to highlight some of the topics. So how we communicate, we use words, it's what we say. Tone is how we say it. And body language is how we look when we say it. So elements for effective communication. What we're going to be doing in this session is recognize how you tend to communicate. You're going to build on your own understanding of PICO or your center or yourself that we've already been doing by doing the Myers-Briggs, this shapes personality, and we've been exploring your sense of self. We're going to continue to do that, and we're going to go from the inside, we're going to start doing the external. And then how the communication process works. So the first thing we're going to do when we're talking about elements for effective communication is you're going to explore your own communication style. So go ahead later on and check on Laulima in week 9 under Olelo, step 3, which has the communication styles. There's going to be a communication styles assessment link. So go ahead and click on that. When you're taking the quiz or the assessment, put your mind frame in the work environment, and if you've never worked, in a school environment. Okay, and then after, what I'd like you to do is don't think about it. There's going to be 4 words that you can choose from. Don't do so much thought. Just go ahead and select the best choice. And if you don't know what it is or the meaning of the word, go ahead and do a search on the internet for the definition. And then after you're through, it's going to come up with a title of your communication style. So what I'd like you to do is search the internet, type in your communication style, and save it as PDF. So for example, if your communication style is doer, you would type doer, communication style, and then there's going to be a PDF version. So if you scroll down, it'll also perhaps be under leadership IQ. So then go ahead and file and save it as a PDF. And then you can upload it to the assignment as an attachment. And that way, that's for your own personal information. Okay? So there's 20 different communication styles that you'll be able to see. So the further out from the color wheel, so for example, if you were an achiever, that means you're very strong in that. And then as you go into it, so for example, I'm a challenger. So as a challenger, I can go across the contemplator and the challenger. So you're going to pick up some other skills, or you have some other things that are there. And if you're a blend, it could be you didn't answer, you just kind of went all over the place with your answers, or you didn't know how to do it, or it just means depending on the situation, and if you're a squiggle, you can be a combination of many communication styles. So the second thing you'll do is, this is my own communication style. It's saying that it's a challenger. I'm a challenger. So one of the things is that I tend to be direct, And sometimes it can be appear to be confrontational, because if I have something to say or if I believe it, I'm going to stand by it. It says I tend to focus on the big pictures, but I'm also a big picture details person. So that's just what I find interesting about my communication styles. But I already knew a lot of this because I do a lot of self-exploration. So this is the top tendencies. And then on that same printout, it's going to give you what your strengths are and what your challenges are. So when I look at what my strengths is, you know, one of the things that really steps out to me is I can get along with others, but prefer to compete with myself. So I don't compete with others. I always compete with myself because I always think, there has to be a better, faster way that I can do it. So that leads to me being an excellent problem solver. So that really speaks to me. And then when it talks about the challenges, I look at that and sometimes so one of my challenges is I separate my feelings from the issues and I inadvertently hurt people. So that was a surprise to me the first time that I read it. So that's what your report will look like. And then I think it'll help you as you continue to explore, especially in this section when we're talking about customer service or providing exceptional customer service. Okay. And then what you're going to do is, one of the assignments is to do a reflection, what's interesting, what surprised you about your communication style, how does it relate to you? Again, it's like doing your proof story. You say it's this and then cite an example from your communication style and then attach it to something. And then think about, why did I have you do this exercise? So that's part of the reflection. Okay. So the other thing that you're going to do is you're going to be posting a Flipgrid. And the reason why this is going to help, it allows others to understand your communication style and you to better understand others' communication styles. And what your fellow classmates will be doing is putting it in their own words so that you'll understand when you have some confrontation with some people, perhaps your boss or fellow employees or fellow students or people in your family, or on the flip side, you really get along with some of them. So just listening to your different communication styles is going to help you. So don't forget to post a Flipgrid video. Okay. So for this activity, I had asked you to go ahead and get a scrap piece of paper. So this exercise requires listening to and following directions. And as you hear the instructions, you need to perform the task. Okay, so go ahead and get your paper. If you haven't got it, stop the video and then go get one. Okay, so go ahead and fold your paper in half. Tear off the upper right-hand corner. Fold your paper in half again. Tear off the lower right-hand corner. Fold your paper in half. Tear off the upper left-hand corner. And then for the last time, fold your paper in half and then tear off the lower left-hand corner. Okay. And then unfold your paper and hold it up. Okay. So does yours look like mine? So these were the directions that you were not able to see. Number one, you weren't able to see. Number two, you weren't able to see what I was telling you to do. It was out of your range. So does yours look like my example? So the point of this exercise is to remember when you communicate with others, they may not receive the message you sent. So individual perceptions vary. I want to give you an example of my sister and her 16-year-old daughter. She was dating someone, and my sister told her daughter, he's just using you. So when I talked to my niece about it, she didn't hear that. What she heard was that, oh, my mother doesn't think that I'm lovable by anybody. That's not what my sister said, but that's what my niece heard, that my mother doesn't even believe I'm lovable. So again, it's a matter of perception. It doesn't matter what you're saying. It matters what the other person receives. So individual perceptions, again, they vary. So what I'd like you to do is also create another post, a Flipgrid video, and then did your paper look the same or similar to mine? What I want you to do is show it on the video, and you can talk about it. If you were given the same directions, why is your end results different? Or is it the same as mine? And then what was interesting about the activity, and how does it relate to your communication style? And then last, what did you learn about yourself? So to talk about it again, two-way communication, it's two individuals that apply all the elements of interpersonal communication to effectively exchange information and ideas, right? It's the exchanging of information and ideas. So verbal and nonverbal feedback. This is the definition of verbal feedback. Response given to a sender's message that allows the sender and receiver to know that it was received correctly. And then nonverbal feedback. Feedback sent to someone through other than spoken means. I'm going to talk more about nonverbal information or communication later. So showing we care is really all about the communication. If you look at these pictures, you don't even have to hear what they're saying. They don't have to be present, but you can just understand what feeling is conveyed through their nonverbal communication. And then the basic building blocks of good communication is the feeling that every human being is unique and of value. So that's the end of tonight's. So thank you, and I look forward to seeing your Flipgrid videos and reading your reflections. Mahalo.